Hey everyone, it's Emmy Hall at TFL Car, and I'm so excited to be here in the hills outside of Malibu, California with the 2016 Mazda CX-3. This little crossover has been just on everyone's radar since it debuted. I'm super excited to get to drive it. Is it going to live up to my Zoom Zoom Mazda standards? We'll find out coming up next on the Fast Lane Car. Under the hood, Mazda's given us a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which is good for 146 horsepower and 146 pound-feet of torque. Oh, how I wish we had the 2.5 that you can find in the Mazda 3, but that is just not to be, at least at the moment. And if you want a manual, sorry, you're gonna have to go to Europe. This one is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, but the good news is, it's not a CVT, and it's shiftable. On our touring version here, we can shift from the stick, although on the Grand Touring version, you get those paddle shifters. Now we've got the all-wheel drive version here with MPGs of 32 out on the highway and 27 in the city, and those will be a little bit higher for the front-wheel drive version. We do have the Sky Active technology through this, and that applies to the engine, the chassis, and the drivetrain. So what does it mean? Well, the chassis, it's much stiffer, it's much safer than in previous generations. And again, in the engine, it's gonna be much more efficient, giving you better MPGs. And it's also a little bit lighter weight. Now, in the transmission is really where we see it, in that the transmission is gonna shift smoother. It's gonna act a little bit more like a manual, especially when I obviously put this into manual. The base price on our touring model here comes in at about $23,200, but we do have a premium package that adds about $1,400 to this. Now, visually, what I really do like about this is that they've done a lot to kind of mitigate the fact that this is a taller car. So they've done that with these blacked out fenders here. They've done a lot of horizontal details on it. I've got a very small looking cabin with a blacked out B and C pillar. They've got smaller front and rear overhangs, and they really have done a lot to kind of push the whole thing back here. So I've got an elongated front hood. My A pillar is pushed all the way back, and I've got some really nice sheet metal creases from here from the hood that comes down and then kind of just transitions right into this crease on the side, and it gives the whole car a feeling of like it's an animal, like a wildcat, and it's ready to pounce. You know, Mazdas are just so much fun to drive. It's just so well balanced. This all-wheel drive, it's much more predictive than it is reactive. It takes in there's like so many more sensors than in the previous generations of all-wheel drive, and it takes in so much more information, everything from the outside temperature to the fact, do I have my windshield wipers on? And it uses all that information to decide and predict what I am going to need when I am going to need it. And I have to tell you, going through these twisties right now, this is a freaking blast. Of the CX-3 is a nice place to spend your commute. It is very comfortable. The one problem I have is the lack of storage. There's no center console that flips up. There's a tiny little bit of space in front of the gear shift, and there is a little bit of space in the doors, but by and large, there's not a lot of place to store your stuff. Behind the seats, I only have 2.4 cubic feet of space. Again, that's not a lot, but we're looking at a very small crossover. You can't expect to have a ton of utility. Fortunately, those rear seats fold down, so you're going to be able to get a lot more in it than you think. Now, Now, the suspension in the CX-3 is a little bit different than other Mazdas in that it is a torsion in the rear. So that means that it takes up much less space, which is nice, but it's always twisting, right? Always twisting, always twisting. I've got a regular setup in the front. By regular, I mean just a independent McPherson setup in the front. And I do have electric power steering, right? You kind of can't get away from that now. Look at that, it lets me rev all the way to almost the red line. Ooh, let's go out and do a burnout. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Vroom, vroom, zoom, zoom. Now there's a fair amount of competition in this segment, most notably from the Nissan Juke, if you like your cars a little different looking, the new Honda HR-V, and the Mini Countryman. Now for the 2016 Mazda CX-3, unfortunately I can't give it a buy, at least it rents to forget it, and I can't give it a numerical rating because I just got this car and it wouldn't be fair. So hopefully the good folks at Mazda will let us take this car for a whole week and we can give you a more detailed review. But for right now, this is the first drive review of the CX-3. I'm Emmy Hall, straight from Malibu, California. Thanks so much for watching and we'll see you soon. Bye. All right, let's see how long it takes us to program the GPS to get to the lunch spot. So, city, Malibu. Awesome. Street name, Pacific Coast Highway. House number 20356. Go. List. Navigate there, yes. Navigate to there. Start. Yay! That was easy. I wonder if it's as easy as if I just put the name in. Thanks so much for watching TFL Car, everybody. You can subscribe to our channel by clicking right there on the subscribe button. And hey, check us out on all those social medias. The Twitters, the Facebooks, the